Brian. And I'm Nathan. This is the At Odd Show. Please listen.
Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Your outstanding mayor, Brian Higgins, is here. Give him a big round of applause. What? Byron Brown. I'm sorry, Byron. What I meant was your Congressman, Brian Higgins, is here.
Well, guys, I'm going to give you a speech, but my stuff's not here on the podium. Guys? Someone must have messed up on his teleprompter, I think.
Well, I don't know. I give the guy a break. He gives 8 billion speeches a day.
Yeah,
he's going to screw up once in a while.
He is the best orator we've ever had in this country, and the smartest man in any room that he goes into.
I disagree.
And
with
he has
that.
teleprompters.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I thought Ronald Reagan was the great communicator. We've had some very good presidential communicators in the past, and we've had some very bad ones. I think Roosevelt, FDR, was a pretty good speaker. John F. Kennedy, pretty sharp, fast on his feet. He could be funny, be people related. When he screwed up like that, he would have rebounded and had him rolling in the aisles. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's all I had to say. I just wanted to play it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we can pick on him all the time, and as far as fluffs like that.
Well, if we did, it would only be because he's black.
It's one thing when he says 59 states.
You notice
it's another thing when he sort of gets the wrong name. I mean, come on,
Corpsman
or Corpsman. Yeah, that's a little one. I mean,
no, but
that Harvard educated.
That bit that I did about his stuff not being there, that actually happened to him.
No, I know.
He walked out to a podium. His speech wasn't sitting there.
I know.
So he didn't know what to say.
I know.
Including hello. And then there's the kindergarten. There's a kindergarten class that he spoke to. The kindergartners that he spoke to with his teleprompters, right? I mean, that's
pretty.
That's
tough.
the picture.
That's pretty bad when you have to have a teleprompter.
And then we have somebody who is perceived to be the dumbest president we've ever had, George W. Bush, reading to children, being told that the United States of America was attacked, and still being able to compose himself and handle himself presidentially. I mean, the contrast is just crazy between the two. One being perceived by the left as being an idiot, the other perceived by the left as being
a Messiah.
Messiah, absolutely Messiah, if not God.
You can't do it. Godlike. He's not the God.
I don't know. It depends on who you talk to.
I
don't think just a Messiah can give somebody a tingle up their leg when they talk.
I don't know. I think down on Front Street.
Yeah,
you can pay for that and get a tingle up your leg,
and you can call him whatever
you
want.
You can call him whatever you want. He doesn't mind.
That's why we moved off of Front Street.
That was funny, Nate. I got to listen to you more often. You have a funny one once in a while.
Yeah, I haven't ever mentioned that you should listen, and none of the listeners have contacted us anonymously and said that Brian guy should listen.
You chastise me all the time about that. Well, let's take care of some business. This is Thursday, August 22nd, 2013. We're broadcasting from the back room of the Patriots Inn Bar and Studio in a large city in what country?
Alaska.
Oh. All right, Mr. President. Is that the 59th state? I think that is the 59th state.
It sure is.
We are in Alaska, and Alaska is trying to nullify these onerous gun laws by saying, we're going to cut funding to all of the programs that we contribute to enforce gun laws.
And that's a novel idea.
Using the 10th Amendment?
Well, that'll definitely play a role.
And we'll see how they get away with that. But Alaska's
that's
just
a novel idea with all of
it.
these regulations that are crammed down our throats.
Yeah.
And now we have people, there are people who are in charge, right, in charge, in quotes, in Congress that are saying, well, we don't like this, but there's nothing we can do. Obamacare is a huge example of this. Well, you can defund it. You can not vote to fund it, at least to show us.
Not enforce things.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
States are starting to do that.
So this crap that, it was passed and there's absolutely nothing we can do, but we'd like to. So if we could just have your vote for the next 50 years, that'd be great.
And the last time that I can recall rumblings like this was like in 1858.
Yeah.
In 1859 or so.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it turned out.
You were middle-aged then.
I was middle-aged then. I was. I had my buggy whip. Yeah. Anyways,
I do want to remind you, first of all, stay tuned because we are planning to have Shak Hill.
Oh, yeah.
He's a candidate for U.S. Senate in Virginia.
In the great state of Virginia.
Great state of Virginia. Looking to replace a Democrat who
might like to retire there.
Who, voted for Obamacare, got elected as a pro-gun candidate, and then as soon as Sandy Hook happened and his daughters talked to him, completely changed his story. We should be talking to Shak Hill in the second half of the show.
We'll ask him about his opinions and feelings on the Second Amendment.
Until then, give us a call, 248-455-ODDS, 248-455-6337. We'll chat with you. No reason not to.
We love you. Call us. Like us on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.com/AdOddsShow.
Don't we have a contest real quick?
We do. I was going to mention that.
I know.
So we do.
If you like
giving
us,
away a gift card, right, this time?
Burger King.
To Burger King, which is all-American food.
A $10 gift card. It's only $10, but it's free.
It'll get you a meal.
Yeah. Or you can supersize it.
Just
can
like
you
us
supersize it at Burger King?
No, you can't, but you can have it your way.
Ooh, I like it my way.
Like us on Facebook before next Thursday, I think, August 29th.
August 29th.
You'll be entered in the contest. We'll pick a name probably the week after that.
Our last winner won our book.
Our book, yep.
My Parents' Open Carry, a great kids book on the pros and cons of open carry, concealed carry, gun safety, and more.
Yes.
So,
MyParentsOpenCarry.com.
Nate, what do you do when you're bored?
Murder.
I did not expect that. Really?
No.
I usually eat a cheeseburger or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Order a pizza. I don't go out and decide I'm going to shoot somebody and kill them.
I actually don't have much time to be bored, but if I am bored, I find something to do that's not harming other people.
Yeah, generally. Well, you harm me.
Yeah, that's everybody harms you. And
that's more of a hobby for you.
That's why I'm not bored.
Yeah.
It's because I have that.
Well, poor Chris Lane, and our
week.
Condolences to his family.
Absolutely.
A Oklahoma athlete. He was a college baseball player out for a jog. 3 bored
He was Australian.
teens. He was... Well, okay. So the Australians are... What are they worth? 5/8 of an American or what? I don't see.
Yes,
I should listen to you more often. Are they worth 9/5 of a? I don't know my fractions. 9/5 of an American citizen. Doesn't matter. He's a human being gunned down senselessly by 3 little punks who are like 15, 16, something like that.
Gunned down by 2 of them, and one of them
don't care.
supposedly
They're all
drove the car. Absolutely.
Hey, if you're involved, it's that felony by association.
Well, I don't think it's as simple as that. He actually drove the car there so they could shoot it and help them get away.
Yeah, that's
it's
like
a
the
little
bank robber.
different than just felony by association.
No, that's what the bank robber who drives the getaway car where a guard is killed is guilty of first-degree murder as if he had pulled the trigger. In most jurisprudence.
Yeah, I don't know that that's what he's being charged for, which is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that that's the case.
The thing is, they're juveniles, so they might not even be tried as adults. Who knows?
No.
I think because it's so senseless, and cold and premeditated, I think they might try to go for
And they
adults.
were most likely members of a gang.
I don't know. I don't
And
know that.
it was
I don't know.
quite possibly race-related, unlike the Trayvon Martin shooting, where we heard words after word from our president and from Jesse Jackson and from Al Sharpton and from everybody else.
You know what I didn't hear? I haven't heard Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton crying out to lynch these boys.
Jesse Jackson
for what?
On Wednesday, yesterday.
Did he say something?
Jesse Jackson did post something, I think on Twitter or Facebook, praying for the family of Chris Lane.
Of course.
Great. This senseless violence is frowned upon, and the justice system must prevail.
Oh, like the Trayvon Martin case.
Like the Trayvon Martin case, where Jesse Jackson says... No, what did he say? He said lynch the guy or something?
Yeah, justice has failed us.
Yep, I think that's what he said.
He's a victim, and... even though the justice system prevailed... he's sending conflicting messages.
These worthless people will come out and do everything they can to incite riots when they think it will make them money. But when a white man from Australia is murdered by black men...
3 punks.
2 black, 1 not black, I assume white, but maybe he's white Hispanic. I don't know. That's a new thing. They don't say anything. And then when they're chastised enough and they think, well, maybe I should say something because people are saying...
They say vanilla ice cream like this.
Frowned upon.
Yeah.
This violence is frowned upon. Not even this is terrible. It's frowned upon. It's frowned upon much like, I don't know, eating too much vanilla ice cream is frowned upon.
It's frowned upon. You shouldn't do that.
And the justice system must prevail. We have to wait. We can't rush to judgment because what we don't want to do is jump in front of the justice system.
We don't want to try these kids on the media.
Obama's spokesmoron, not Jay Carney, his underling moron, Josh Earnest, who is not Ernest, came out and that was stolen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
What he came out and said is, well, I'm not familiar with the case, actually.
Geez.
I haven't heard about it. And then he says, well, it sounds tragic, but we don't want to jump in front of the justice system.
And that's kind of a local issue.
Yeah, well, he says we don't want to jump ahead of the justice system.
Yeah.
Like in Trayvon Martin's case where Obama came out and said...
It was politically beneficial to...
If I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. Well, if you had a son, he'd look like these idiots that murdered this man, too. Come on.
The hypocrisy is
now, because
flowing.
of this crap and because this happens and no one says anything, Australia is threatening to boycott the United States of America.
Which is bullshit. I mean, bull crap, too, because, what are they boycotting it for? It's the gun issue, not the murder issue.
When was the last time that somebody was murdered with a gun in Australia by 3 boys because they were bored?
Well, there's no crime in Australia because
there's
guns.
Zero crime because of their gun laws.
Right, there's no guns. And
I wouldn't come here either if I was Australian because of all the guns.
Yeah.
Or maybe, if I was Japanese and wanted to attack America, I wouldn't do it because of the guns. That's actually the truth.
No, I wouldn't come here from Australia because the toilets go the wrong way when you flush them.
Yeah, and that's just bizarre. I suggest you go to Google and look that up.
Please do it because that's wrong. Oh, boy. Lots of stuff in the news. We got all kinds of spies being tried and spies being chased, and we got Snowden. British agents oversaw the destruction of a number of Guardian newspapers' hard drives, and they didn't just destroy them or merely destroy them. They completely destroyed them. And they had agents of the state there making sure they were destroyed.
They have an actual team, much like I'm sure the Department of Defense does
because
here.
What they said is, we know that computers have bits, and we're looking at all the bits and pieces of this broken
Is that
hardware.
what they said?
They said that.
There's a bit over there.
There's a bit over there. They can use that.
There's a lot of bits.
There might be a Chinese person comes by and takes up that bit there. Yeah, no, they were worried about Chinese spies. Might just wander by and pick up a bit here and a bit there.
Well, the Chinese are good with computers.
They are they're inscrutable. Oh, Lord, are we racist or what?
That was a compliment. They are good with computers.
And
they just can't use the internet very much. It's all blocked.
Oh, Lordy. Anyways, they destroyed it because of the Guardian newspaper was afraid of retributions and all kinds of legal issues, and they wanted to put on a good front for the U.S.
No. Hold on here. They were coerced to have them destroyed.
By who?
By the government.
By what government?
The UK government.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
And there was no influence from the U.S.
Oh, no. Of course.
I tried to listen to you.
By proxy.
Yeah.
But you're saying that the Guardian, or are you saying the government wanted to
Is that really sticky stuff that holds... Oh, no, that's the epoxy.
Did you say the UK Guardian wanted to put on a good face? Or the UK?
No, the Guardian, I think, was kowtowing to whoever the powers that be to placate governments.
Well, from what I saw, at first they said, no, we don't want you to destroy this stuff.
We're going to pretend like we have
Eventually they were...
testicles.
They changed their minds for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But they did say it will not affect
torture
anything.
Will do that to you.
Yeah, it won't affect any of the Snowden data. They still have that somewhere. Of course.
So what did they
think
destroy?
They didn't make... Well, just stuff that...
Other advertisers?
Stuff that the Chinese government might want.
The emails between, the
You think they don't have backups somewhere else?
Yeah.
Probably here in the U.S.
And the British government downloaded everything.
They probably have backups in China.
No, the British government has all that data. You know damn well.
It's not the government that we want to have it. It's the UK Guardian, because they'll actually tell us what's important. They'll tell us Snowden's story.
And, okay. Chinese bits. All right.
No, it's the English bits that the Chinese might get.
It's the nuts. It's the twig and bits and the chutney. Never mind. That goes back to the Indian, English, British. That's really old history.
I want to remind you again to stay tuned. Second half of the show.
Remind you again to switch over to someone else.
Second half of the show, we were planning to have Shak Hill candidate for U.S.
Hopefully,
Senate
if he's not listening and
he might have changed his mind already.
Yeah. Ted Cruz. I didn't know he was Canadian. Did you?
No, I was thinking
you
Cuban
had no
or something.
idea he was Canadian.
I mean, he says that a lot. But
my great-grandfather was born in Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you Canadian?
I must be.
You should probably move to Canada.
Well, they were chased out of Ireland and went through Canada, and then he was born in Canada, and they came to the United States.
Yeah, so, I mean, there are legal experts saying that because Ted Cruz was born in Canada,
right,
on Canadian soil, to an American mother,
right,
a mother with American citizenship, father from Cuba, I believe, that he is technically a Canadian citizen.
And he can apply for a citizenship, I guess.
Yep. And Ted Cruz said, if that's true, I denounce it.
Maybe he was surprised himself.
Well, he acted like not surprised, but like he'd never looked into it before because he's an American. Because it doesn't matter. Because he doesn't have a book, I think, titled something, Dreams from My Father, or something that on the cover says, born in Kenya.
So what you're saying is he is a Cuban, Canadian, American.
Yeah, I think that's true.
All those holidays he gets to celebrate.
I know.
That's really
he
great.
Never works because he's always off.
Great cigars, great sandwiches, good rum. Nothing American is good about. Oh, turkey.
Hamburgers. I mean, come on. We eat cows here.
That's true. Hamburgers.
That's amazing.
What did the Canadians have to offer?
Bacon. Canadian bacon.
Bacon. I love bacon.
And Rush. The band.
Yeah, I guess.
No, come on. Neil Peart, at least.
I don't
know.
Who
cares about the rest of the band?
Okay. Well, Gordon Lightfoot. Love Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, you
love the Gordo. Saw him in concert a few times. Puts on a heck of a show. Met him, actually.
Yeah, so the moral of the story is...
I got a story about him, but it's not for the radio ears.
Ted Cruz is an American. He identifies as an American. He doesn't want dual citizenship, even. And if he did, I mean, I wouldn't, but really not a big deal.
Personally, I would do it because I like to have two dogs in a fight.
He doesn't look
it
like...
It betters my chances.
He doesn't look like... He's not admitting that he wants to run for president, but it doesn't look like this would disqualify him in any way.
I don't know. I don't think it would. And if he should choose that, he could denounce it or renounce it at that point. Yeah. Me, I'd rather have that ace in my hole, so to speak.
Yeah, and if you're serious about that, that's really too bad.
I am serious because I want those 2 dogs there because I may want to flee to Canada.
No, that's ridiculous.
And I want to run for czar because
people
Canadians
that
have
are
a czar.
People that are half in, like, well, I care about the country, but really, I'll just go somewhere else. That's not really doing us much good. Because there are people like me who, I'm American. If I had dual citizenship, I wouldn't be thinking about running to another country if things got too bad.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What would you do?
I fight as long as I could.
Fight and die.
Well, as an American. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get to that. But my point is, I mean, if you're just half in, I don't know. I don't like it.
That's not good. You don't like to hedge your bet?
Not on that.
You're all in.
Not on that. No.
You're all in.
No, I am very proud to be 100% American. As Ted Cruz is.
As am I.
Maybe but that's because you don't have the choice to be Canadian.
No,
right now.
I don't think
you have
would.
A whole process, and you have to.
No, it's a lot of work.
Show ID
and
things like that. No. And it's just ridiculous.
I wouldn't do it.
Ridiculous.
Plus, they have Tim Hortons. I don't know.
Yeah, and they speak French.
Ugh. French.
Weird.
I don't know. But if Olivia, the little pig, wanted to go to Canada,
and she is a pig, I will tell you that little girl, pig.
And if you're not familiar, we're talking about the Olivia series, which it's a series of children's book written by a liberal fashion designer from the United States who, not that it means anything.
Oh, he's fabulous.
He is very fabulous. Came out with a new book, and he's getting a lot of heat. There's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people are not too happy with that.
Here's the thing. It's actually not new. Came out in 2010.
Yeah, and there's just
But people are just noticing it, and I checked our book collection. I don't have this one.
Thank God.
Which is good, because I would have burned it.
Ooh, that would have been fun.
She goes to Venice, right? Because she gets to decide, as the little piglet in the family, where they're going to go on vacation. Because in all families, the little baby decides.
Yeah.
She goes through...
That's kind of true.
She goes through security at the airport.
Yeah, and I have the quote.
Some agency, probably the TSA.
I would think so.
There's a picture of her being scanned. They're 2 huge pigs, big hogs.
Patting her down.
Pigs.
She's smiling.
These cops, these pigs are
up
standing there.
And she, in the caption for the illustration says, as they went through the airport, Olivia was searched for weapons, and she was very pleased.
Yeah.
Good God. Talked about indoctrination.
The more I thought about this, the more pissed off I became.
Sexual gropings of old pigs.
And I was asked, well, why does that make you upset? I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, children shouldn't be afraid of the airport, right? And I understand that. The thing is it's exactly what you said, Brian. It's indoctrination.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's these children read this book before bed. They see this pig having a good time being groped by these grown men, and it's okay because she had fun and she got to go have gelato in Italy.
It's your children we want.
It's the children that seem to be, well, we're going to have to strip search your handicapped 4-year-old because they might be a threat. Because,
check that wheelchair out.
You're white and the Muslims are using babies with bombs.
Oh, wait a minute.
It kind of looks like...
No, they haven't done that.
Oh. Well, I mean, they have used children, but not white children.
I don't know. The point is, if these were Nazi soldiers... asking for someone's ID on the streets, and there was a book that said, oh, this is good and this should make you happy, people would be outraged. And here is a damn kid's book. If you want a kid's book, get My Parents Open Carry, because that stands up for the Second Amendment.
Yeah, there's no indoctrination in it.
No, not at all.
I mean, it
really is.
When we wrote it, we were envisioning parents sitting down and starting a conversation.
Right.
We'll take a quick call here, though, and then we'll Shak coming up later on in the show. Thanks for calling At Odds. You're on the air. What's on your mind?
Hi. I just had a couple quick comments. First would be, I believe you're the resident IT guru. There may be an issue with the Spreaker function, and so I have a difficult time getting the shows live.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for doing that on the air. And then just wanted to let you know, I've tried it in different web browsers, so
okay,
some type of
Yeah, shoot us an email if you can, and I can try to help you out with that.
Have you gone to our website and refreshed it and tried to listen to it?
Yes, I have. I've been trying to do that for the last 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure.
Can you hear any of us at all?
It's probably difficult for you guys to experiment with it because you're actually on the air.
Yeah. Right. We don't know. So you can't hear it at all.
No, I can't get the live feed in either Internet Explorer or Firefox.
Okay, yeah, maybe if you go to our Facebook page and click on the "Come Listen to Us Live Now," I'm not sure, but did you have another comment?
I did actually, and I posted somewhere earlier, but my memory fails me. You're going to have a guest, and I was hoping that you guys could ask him a little bit about this recent push towards basically banning guns and basically repealing Stand Your Ground, and also talk a little bit, if you get a chance, about the issue with our school systems. Because I bring it up, my daughter actually drew a picture recently, and it was of me, and she's 5-year-old. She's in kindergarten.
Okay. Yeah.
And what appeared to be a holster on my belt. Now, I open carry, so I thought that was quite natural, but it caused quite a bit of alarm with her teacher.
Oh,
yeah, sure it did. I mean, because you can't have guns in school, you know. I mean, you can't even draw pictures of them.
And to my daughter's credit, it was an empty holster, so she was wise enough, not to put the gun.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just it's incredibly alarming how gun phobic we are in our school systems.
I hope you address that.
Yes, I did.
With the school, go talk to the teacher, principal, whoever, just to kind of smooth it over and let them know that it wasn't even a toy gun, which is bad enough. It's a picture of an empty holster. I mean, come on.
Right. It's a Krayla-Cron drawing of me with my holster on with a big smile, and I'm walking my dog and her.
All right. On one of the future shows, let's call back and give us a follow-up on what happened.
Oh,
it'll be interesting.
I won't go into great detail, but it was immediately nipped in the bud. So
good. Okay, good. Very good.
All right. Well, if you can't get the show, definitely the interview with Shak Hill will be
recorded
available as a podcast, so you'll be able to listen later anyway.
And we do plan to ask him some gun questions, so we have that.
Outstanding. Well, you guys have a great evening, and keep up the good work.
All right, carry on. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's too bad. If anyone else is having trouble with the website, send us an email. You can talk at adoddshow.com. Let us know, or hook us up on Facebook, facebook.com/adoddshow.
That's distressing to hear.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, his situation with his kid in school, it's unfortunate because it's not isolated. We see it all the time.
All over the country.
Pop-Tart being chewed where it kind of might look like a gun.
Even
I mean,
pointing a finger. I mean, it's ridiculous.
These children should be allowed to take a toy gun to school if they want.
We
It's
used
a
to bring
toy
squirt
gun.
guns to school. We used to play cops and
I heard
robbers at
stories.
school.
Unfortunately, I was never able to. But my brother taking rifles to school for show and tell. You know, leave the bolt at home or whatever. But that wasn't that long ago.
No, he's not that much older.
And
than
it's like that. Things are changing, and it's because it doesn't affect me. I don't have a kid in school. My kid doesn't need to take my shotgun to school. I just have a shotgun. You know, I mean, it's not affecting me. It's fine. They're not going to come take my gun away.
And I can remember in the 70s bringing our guns in the trunks of our car and going grouse hunting after school.
Sure.
Some of us hunted in the morning before we went to school.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Just a minute or two before break, and we'll come back with
You want to
Shak
do
Hill.
let's do the IRS thing really quick, just as an update. Congressman Duncan, who is a Republican, has questioned the IRS about their need to train with AR-15 military rifles for their standoff capability. That's in quotes. And why the IRS can't use agencies like U.S. Marshals. Guess what? He's not getting any response. He's a U.S. congressman. He's asking this. And so far they're going...
What he's trying to do is garner enough support in this. So people need to call him, call all of the other congressmen. Let them know that you'd like to know what the hell the IRS, these accountants, why do accountants need AR-15s?
I'm assuming these are automatic not semi-automatic.
I would assume, because they are highly trained accountants.
Right, and, the government doesn't have
certified
to play by the
CPAs. But what he's trying to do is garner enough support so there can actually be an official investigation by a committee, because his committee doesn't directly oversee the IRS. So he's going to need to put some more effort into it. But
listen,
he
can still
he
can still ask questions of any agency within the country. He's a congressman,
and what's the guarantee that they'll respond with the answer he wants or with the information he requests? Because they're not. So it just like we might have time later to talk about executive orders. You can talk about how it's supposed to be, but reality is
very different.
The IRS, the executive branch, is way out of control. And they're not going to answer him if the answer isn't what the American people want. There's no way that they're going to tell him, well, we need them because we might want to go to somebody's house to take their assets because they're conservative. They run a Tea Party group, and we're going to audit them, of course. And we know they have guns because the people we're targeting are gun owners that cling to Bibles and guns and God and everything else.
And they might be reluctant to pay their income tax.
Yep. But take a quick break, 248-455.
Hopefully, if everything works and our producer does everything right, we'll be back with Shak Hill.
If you're looking for a great time, I suggest you listen to the At Odd Show with Nate and Brian.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
My Parents Open Carry, a pro-gun kids book from White Feather Press. 13-year-old Brenna and her parents spend their day in typical fashion. But what's not so typical is that Brenna's parents lawfully open carry handguns for self-defense. And the Strongs join a growing number of families who are standing up for their Second Amendment right and bringing gun ownership out of the closet. Order your copy of this unique kids book at myparentsopencarry.com.
Fact. U.S. credit card debt is 8 times larger than it was 30 years ago. No wonder you and I are feeling the credit card crunch. You're not alone. Increasing prices and the costs of credit are stretching budgets and preventing people just like us from getting ahead or just catching up with our debts. At American Financial Debt Relief, we can help. We have tested ways to help you get out of debt. Find out how now. The call is free to learn more. If you qualify, we can reduce your interest, show you how to stop your debt from getting larger, and help you get out of debt faster than you can by making minimum payments. So if you're falling behind on your credit cards or medical bills, give us a call right now, where a free 5-minute call can change your life.
800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Reduce your credit card debt. Call now. 800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Obama wants your money, and he's determined to get it. He wants your money to buy off unions, his Wall Street cronies, and to expand the Obama welfare nation. Well, Swiss America is determined to stop him from stealing your money. They want to send you an award-winning film, I Want Your Money, on DVD that exposes his plan. It'll help keep the government's hands off your money using gold, silver, and other hard asset strategies to protect your hard-earned money. Call today and request the DVD, I Want Your Money, normally $19.95, yours absolutely free. Let Swiss America show you how to use gold, silver, and other hard assets to protect your hard-earned money. Call now. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call Swiss America right now. Learn all about investing in gold. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call now.
Welcome back. Once again, I'm Nate.
And the producer did a great job. I think we have Mr. Shak Hill on the line.
We do. Welcome, Shak. How you doing today?
Well, I'm doing excellent. Good evening to both of you.
Yeah, you too.
To you too.
How's the weather there in Virginia?
It is quite nice tonight. Very clear, nice breeze. It's a good day to be in Virginia.
Well, yeah, any day is a good day to be in Virginia, right?
This is very true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like you're planning to run for U.S. Senate in 2014, hoping to unseat a Democrat there. Why don't you first give us a little background about yourself, your family, where you came from, and maybe how you got into politics in the first place?
Sure. Well, I'm a graduate of the United States Air Force Academy. I became a decorated combat pilot, flew all over the world. It was my pleasure to serve our country and to serve our country in combat.
And we thank
my
you.
wife and I have been married for 24 years. We have 6 children. And through some cancer surgery that she's had, she's unable to have more children naturally. So we've become foster parents. And since 1997, we fostered 46 children.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah. And in that time frame, we adopted 4 of them as well.
Wow.
So with our 2 natural children and our 4 adopted children, we've got 6 little ones. Shouldn't say little. The youngest is 10. And part of why and who I am, I'm a small business owner, and I'm getting caught up in these regulations, and I want to see my kids have the American dream like I had the American dream when I was growing up. And to be honest with you, gentlemen, I feel it's slipping away, and I'm not somebody to stand idle by, and I want to be a part of the process, and I want to replace Mark Warner in 2014.
Excellent. We agree with everything you say about some of the problems with our country. What would be some of the issues facing not only Virginia in particular, but the United States in general?
Well, one of the big things right now that we see a lot about is immigration. And I'd like to let you know that my great-grandfather, and many of those listening to the show right now, my great-grandfather immigrated from Damascus, Syria. And we are a nation of immigrants, and it's the immigration and the melting pot that made us great. And, in fact, I get my name from him. His surname was Shak.
Oh, cool.
And my proper first name is Shak. But I just go by Shak or low-cost housing. And he came in through the front door, and he melted into the American culture, and he searched for the American dream, and he believed in the American dream. And right now we've got, by some estimates, 10, 12, maybe even more, millions of people, and their first relationship with the United States and America was disregarding our rule of law. And I have to tell you that this is a major problem, and we absolutely, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to vote to secure the border and to enforce the laws that are on the books right now. And this is a huge problem in Virginia, and it's a huge problem across our nation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, first, I want to let people know, probably when they go to vote for you next year, they'll have to look for Shak on the ballot, then, I'd imagine. Unless you can put nicknames on there, I don't know, but...
Yeah. Actually, that's a great point and a great question, but my name on the voter registration is actually Shak Hill.
Oh, okay.
If your name is if your name is Michael or Nathaniel or, and you want to change it on the voter registration, you absolutely can do that by just changing it, as long as it's a proper name and not like Bubba.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with
I voted for Bubba 3 times. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, would you say that you would not have supported the bill that came out of the Gang of 8, and where we hear Marco Rubio and other senators coming out saying that border security was number 1, but then when it comes down to it, we see, well, no, really, legalization is number 1 and border security comes later. Is that something that you would push back against?
There's several things wrong with this current immigration bill that passed out of the Senate. I would absolutely have voted against it. But one of the things that's wrong is the overreaching of the federal government and really the complicity of the senators themselves. Inside of the bill, it says that it will secure our border, but only if the Secretary of Homeland Security thinks that's important. Well, Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution says that all legislation comes from the Congress. None of it is supposed to come from the executive branch. And by abdicating the power to the Homeland Security Secretary, the senators are basically saying, look, we're powerless. We can't do this. We're going to pass this off to the executive branch. And our founding fathers did not want that. They wanted the Congress and the representatives of the people to be enacting the laws, not some bureaucrat, so that it absolves themselves of their constitutional duty. And you know what I say? If Mark Warner is not willing to do that, he should resign immediately, and we should have somebody like myself in there who's going to uphold the Constitution and do the right thing by the people.
Yeah, they're passing the buck, so they don't have to take any responsibility for any action.
That's exactly right, and then they can come back to the constituents and
Right.
say, "Well, I wrote a letter to the secretary telling him or her how bad this particular decision was."
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. That's not what our design was about.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, you're in line with me on immigration anyway, and the power of the executive branch. Let's move on to something that is pretty close to Brian and I's heart, and that's the Second Amendment. First, what is your general take? I think I know what it is, but I'll let you tell the people on an individual's right to keep and bear arms, whatever arms they feel is necessary to protect themselves and their family.
Well, the Constitution, of course, the Second Amendment is very clear. It says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I am a constitutional carry. That means that you have the right when you were born to carry, and and we're done talking. So the ability to protect yourself, the ability to protect against tyranny is embedded in the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment really is the guarantor of the First Amendment and all the other subsequent amendments.
Thank you.
And without the Second...
Yeah, thank you. A lot of people don't get that.
Oops.
A lot of people don't get that. That's all right. Go ahead.
Well, they don't, and it's very well documented in history. I mean, Emperor Hirohito in World War II did not want to attack the mainland because he thought he was going to be fighting every blade of grass, every house, and every door front because he knew that the citizenry was armed. And I don't know if you know this, Nate, but the state of Wisconsin has more registered hunters than the fourth largest standing army in the world. Yep. I'm pretty comfortable with that.
We're aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, armed societies are polite societies, so
And along with that, I want to ask you, a lot of people are saying this is controversial, is the sort of resurgence of the open carry of a handgun. A lot of people are openly carrying, a handgun in plain view, and it's sort of divided even among gun owners about that. What's your view on open carry?
I tell you, I very much enjoy doing it myself. Let me tell you a fast story
Excellent.
about my 20-year-old son. He was open carrying in Walmart the other day, and the manager came up to him and said, I had a complaint. Would you mind leaving? Well, I do support the right of the store to ask somebody to leave. So he left, and because he's 20, he could not conceal that handgun inside of his truck.
Yes.
Because he does not have a concealed carry permit. So he actually came home. He waited until the shift changed. He got my AR-15, strapped it on his back, went back to Walmart, and finished his shopping with an AR-15 on his back.
You are kidding me.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I am not.
Now, some people will. I'm all for that.
Well, I'm sorry. Let me just finish. I told him you better open the carriage so the bolt's open and do not put a magazine in it. But he finished his shopping with an AR-15. And by the way, nobody was shot.
Yeah.
The gun did not go off by itself. The rifle did not go off by itself, and everybody in that Walmart had extra protection that night.
Well, we need 1,000 guys like you in Congress, and that's probably expanding how many people actually can be in Congress.
Maybe about 100 in the Senate, maybe not 1,000.
Yeah,
but,
maybe.
Yeah, and the thing with Walmart is I'm pretty sure they generally follow state law.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I think the manager was wrong to ask him to leave in that case, but
well,
that's a whole nother.
No, he's not wrong.
Situation.
I will tell you real quick. Walmart's policy is they leave it up to the individual store manager. They generally follow state and local laws in regard to handguns, but they do give the power to the manager to enforce guns or not. So I applaud you for raising your son in that regard, and I applaud you for supporting him carrying the AR-15. I 100%
absolutely
support that.
Now, I think if I remember correctly, Mark Warner was elected, and he was definitely a pro Second Amendment, pro gun guy. But then, Sandy Hook happened, and he kind of flip flopped on that one, didn't he?
He did, and not only was he endorsed by the NRA when he was elected in 2008. I have it on very good authority within the NRA that they are not re-endorsing him. He has voted right down the line to support Harry Reid and those in Nevada. So I feel like we're being represented in Virginia like we're Nevadans. And this is not good for us. So he has lost the support of gun owners, and they are not coming back out to vote for him again.
And that's important in Virginia. I've got a question for you. I don't know how Nate feels exactly. I think he agrees with me, and we're really fearful and mindful of the growing militarization of both the federal and state police forces across this country. What would you do to reduce this overreaching SWAT mentality for enforcing things like unpasteurized milk with SWAT teams and all of these abuses that go on, not only on a federal level, but on the state and local level with police?
Well, of course, I'm running for a federal election, so I'll address it that way. I very much support the police. I very much support our first responders, and I very much want to make sure that we do not artificially put handcuffs on them as they protect the citizenry. But when you have the federal government coming in and being overreaching and overtly coming down and entering into areas that they do not belong, then that is a clear violation of the Constitution. And many times they're coming in under the Commerce Clause, or many times they're coming in under the General Welfare Clause, and that's what's giving them their jurisdiction. One of the first things I'm going to do in the first 100 days of me being in the United States Senate is I'm going to propose a law defining the General Welfare Clause and defining the Commerce Clause, and that's going to bring it back to its original state where only the federal government was in charge of three things: defending our national interests and providing for the common defense, settling disputes between the states, and entering into foreign affairs. They are not supposed to be enforcers like the EPA that now has officers. They're not supposed to be involved in our energy, and they're really not supposed to be involved in our education and other things. So if we go back to the Constitution and put the federal government where it's supposed to be, we won't have any of these civil liberties being violated. And I'm hugely in favor of going back to that position.
All right. A couple of things. One, I'm just going to say them. You don't necessarily have to comment. One is gun-free school zones, federal law, saying you can't have a gun within 1,000 feet of a school. Ridiculous. Should be up to the states. Two, IRS getting automatic assault weapons and being trained how to use it. What do IRS agents need to use assault weapons for? Thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, the Sandy Hook, which was very sad, and the other mass tragedies that we've had, except for one, have all been done in gun-free zones.
Amen.
The only one I'm sorry?
No, I agree with you. Amen. Yeah.
Yeah, the only one that was not, the only mass shooting in the United States in the last several years that was not done in a gun-free zone was the very sad attack on Congresswoman Gabrielle Gifford. And that was kind of a pseudo-gun-free zone because the gunman probably guessed correctly that the Democrats wouldn't be carrying guns.
Yeah.
But when we had the shootings, and we have the shootings in gun-free zones, guess who carried the guns?
Bad people.
The people who carry the guns are those that are illegal. And we just had this beautiful woman who talked down a gunman who entered into the school down south, and it was a gunman who had was already convicted of a felony. He was already taken his rights away from having the ability to have a gun, and yet he had one. So the only people that will follow the law are the law-abiding citizens, and then we'll end up having these gun-free zones which are not in favor and don't protect the people.
Real quick, Shak Hill, candidate for U.S. Senate next year in 2014 in Virginia. Real quick, Shak, what's your take on the current drug war and mandatory sentences for little pot and these sorts of things? Coming from the constitutional side of things, I think I might know where you're going, but what's your take on that? Do you think we're getting too far into spending money and killing people over a little bit of weed?
Imprisoning people.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a difficult area for me, and I do believe in the police powers, and of course the police powers also traditionally allow the local governments to have a morality component to it as well. And I wish that we would have resources that would go after, the criminal that really is impacting us. I have to say that we have to be careful when it comes to a little bit of weed, because a little bit of weed, in your words, can oftentimes turn into a lot of weed and become a gateway drug. So I depart a little bit from my libertarian friends on this particular issue. But one of the things I do know is this: we have to restructure where we put our resources, and I would rather put our resources in enforcing the laws such as the illegal immigration that we have right now, and enforcing other laws, and maybe not worried so much about breaking down, mom and dad's door because somebody said that they might have smelled marijuana inside of there.
Or leave it up to the local governments and get the feds out. Get the feds out of it.
Well, there is no jurisdiction in the federal in the Constitution, none, that give the right to the federal government to enforce laws that are held within the states. Article 1, Section 8 is very clear under the enumerated powers that the federal government only can do these certain things and the states do the rest. And one of the areas where the state does the rest is in law enforcement. So this is clearly a states' rights issue and not a federal government issue. The other one, real quickly, is in the Obamacare area and medicine. This is a states' rights issue. And I'm asking all of my friends here in Virginia to stop calling it Obamacare. I want them from now on to call it Mark Warner Care. because Mark Warner was the 60th vote here in Virginia. And if he had voted no, we would not have Mark Warner Care. And he voted yes, so we now have Mark Warner Care. And in time, we're putting up a website called markwarnercare.com. Don't go there now, it's not ready. But Mark Warner Care and the overreaching of the federal government needs to be shut down, and that's why I'm running in this race.
Okay, well, first on the drug thing, I don't think you do differ from your libertarian friends a bit, but I don't think you're too far off when you say keep the power locally. That's absolutely correct in my mind. As far as Obamacare goes, we definitely need to defund it. We definitely need to repeal it. I believe I've saw an interview with you, and if it wasn't, correct me because I don't want to put misinformation out there. A lot of people talk about Obamacare, and they say repeal and replace. Do you have an idea of what we would replace it with, and why not just leave it alone and push it back on the states like it should be? Well,
I am a repeal first, so I'm not I'm not in a big hurry to replace. Let's take a quick look. I know we probably don't have a lot of time left, but let's take a quick look at what Obamacare was supposed to fix.
Sure.
It was supposed to really fix the pricing and the fact that our prices and the expense of medical care was just getting out of hand. Well, it's not fixing that at all. We've got 15,000 spouses that UPS just kicked off of their medical. Why? Because it's costing too much. You know, let's go back to the fundamentals. Our medical system right now is the best in the world. Our delivery of medicine is better than anybody's. Our ability to have access to medicine, better than anybody's. There's a reason why other countries and other people in those countries are coming to the United States for care. And it's because we have the best ability to deliver care, deliver it now, and deliver it very efficiently. But we do not deliver it very cost-effectively. So Obamacare was supposed to drive down the prices by putting more people on the roll. Well, the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, is telling us more people are not going to be covered because of Obamacare, and we just had 15,000 people yesterday not get covered. And more small business owners are restructuring their workforce, and less people are being covered. So we need to go back to why there was a reason for Obamacare or Mark Warner Care in the first place, and that was to make sure that we had cost containment and cost controls. One of the things I'm going to do when I'm in the United States Senate is I'm going to take a strong look at tort reform. Why is it that these doctors are doing so much defensive medicine? And that's the fear of being sued. And that, in almost a nutshell, is driving up the cost, is the fear of being sued. And there's duplicate medicines, there's overnight stays that are not necessarily needed, and there's doctors that are literally afraid of being sued because of incomplete or inaccurate care. I think that's a major problem in keeping the cost down. And then the last is I want to make sure that we've got competitive pricing. I mean, if I go in right now to buy a gallon of milk, I can see the cost. If I don't want to pay that, I can go down the street and buy another gallon of milk. Well, right now, if I go in to get an x-ray, I don't know what it's going to cost me. So we need to bring capitalism into the delivery system of our medicine. We don't need to jeopardize the quality of our care or the quantity of our care, and that's what Mark Warner Care is doing and Obamacare is doing, is jeopardizing that.
Well, capitalism can actually increase the quality.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like you're talking about free markets there, so that's a good thing.
Well, without a doubt, our quality of care here in the United States is done, and it has thrived because of capitalism.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
So there's no question about that. But we're right now, if we have socialized medicine, we are going to violate the capitalist model. We are going to turn into Canada. We are going to turn into other socialist countries where the weight is going to be beyond the ability for the care to make a difference. More people will die. I truly believe that.
Yep.
Less people will get quality care, and it will start. And what's worse, Nate, is it's going to stifle innovation for the next cure to cancer, for the next cure to breast cancer. My wife is a very healthy cancer survivor, but it's going to stifle the innovation and the free market society that's going to bring in that next major drug that's going to cure or at least help our lives and increase our quality of life. This is not good.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, about 30 seconds, you have to make it through the primary to get to the regular election next year. Looks like you and your opponent, Howie Lynn, both have served on the 10th Congressional District GOP Committee. In about 30 seconds, and to be fair, I am going to ask him to come on the show, and it'd be really cool if you guys both wanted to come back for a debate sometime later in the year.
Yeah.
But give me some of the differences between you and him, and why you versus him.
Yeah, I know Howie very well. I saw him this morning as well, and I do consider him a very good guy. He's a very decent man. The differences are, I'm a small business owner. I know exactly what it's like to meet payroll. I've got a master's degree in finance. Not only do I know what a balance sheet is, I know how to read a balance sheet. Certainly my service as a combat veteran is important. And my wife, having gone through the medical, these medical concerns, I know how to speak to this. I know where that comes from. And then, of course, our service to our local foster care and making sure that we're taking care of the foster children that are here with us. I mean, there's a lot of differences between us. Some of them are compelling, and I think that the voters are going to recognize it. Between the two of us, we've got a lot of similar values, but I bring just that little bit of edge. I think that's going to help us defeat Mark Warner and replace him in the United States Senate so that we can get to 51 senators and we can retire Harry Reid.
Yeah, that'd be great. Shak, I'll tell you what, you're getting me fired up for the 2014 election. We need more people like you involved in politics. I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for what you're still doing. And we wish you luck in the election. We want to thank you for being with us tonight.
And maybe you can be on again when you win the primary.
It'll be my pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
So that was Shak Hill. You can check out more about him, shakhill.com. Also find him on Facebook. I've been following him a little bit. He seems like the real deal. He's not. He served on the city council, but he's not a popular. He's not a mainstream establishment type yet. So I think there's still time. Get somebody like him in, or check out Howie Lind, his competitor in the Republican Party as well. And one of them, let's get rid of the Democrat. But we are definitely out of time. I want to thank you for listening to At Odds. See you next week.
Bye-bye.